Welcome back from the short commercial break, and well, it's time for the topical discussion, and still on that bill that is being proposed and how it has rattled some feathers. Let's get to Simon Kagwanjala to take us through the conversation. Simon, good morning.
Well, a very good morning. You must be envious of my mornings, especially when I come around to catch up with a good friend.
Yeah.
And someone I would regard as a political ideologue, one of the legends in the history of our politics, who speaks truth to power and one of the voices of reason in the country, none other than Honorable Augustine Ruzindana, former legislator. We're catching up on quite a number of stories that are dominating the political space and what he makes of them and the way he sees things. Good to see you, and thank you for hosting us this morning.
Well, thanks for coming. You are welcome here.
This is more than home to me now.
Yes, I think it is home now. Good morning, viewers.
Well, there is a raging debate on the proposed amendment by Mityana South MP, where he's calling for a review of the Parliamentary Administration Act to ensure that the leader of opposition is elected by all members of the opposition in Parliament. What do you make of the way it is raging?
One, I am not sure why there should be such a law in the Parliament. It would be trying to solve a problem that does not exist. Because so far there has been no problem about a party which is the second biggest in the Parliament bringing up the leader of the opposition. I remember the first leader of the opposition in 2006 was actually elected within the FDC.
Elected?
Elected.
Not cherry-picked?
No. There was an election between Professor Latigo and the late Honorable Njuba. And one of them won, but it was internal to the party. There was no law that demanded it. And the one who was elected became the leader of the opposition. And actually the first one served for 5 years. The issue of the 2.5 years came about mainly to share the benefits, not because of effectiveness. Subsequent ones have been appointed. And again, that was an internal to the political parties.
But don't you find it problematic?
No,
the
no,
law talks about election.
No. Secondly, the party which is second in Parliament actually does not have to form a coalition with the other parties, with the other opposition parties in Parliament. It doesn't have to do so. But the first party that was in Parliament actually has started a tradition of appointing members from other opposition parties into its shadow cabinet. It doesn't have to do so. It can form a shadow cabinet from its own members. The other members of the opposition do not have a right to become part of the shadow cabinet. No, they don't have a right.
Yeah, but don't you find it awkward that colleagues in Parliament are led by someone where there is no consensus?
No, but
who is more inclined to the party?
Even in this case, it is a bit problematic because, well, now actually there is no bill. No, there is no bill yet.
It's a proposal.
Yes, because if there was a bill, one would be interested to see the definition of the opposition. Is a party in government, like DP, is in government, part of the opposition? Now, for me, I don't think DP now is a part of the opposition. And I heard that Honorable Umu is a lawyer. He doesn't have a local stand to raise the matter. Their party is in government. And I think they have a formal...
But he has challenged it himself.
No, but the party is in government. The same with the UPC. UPC is in government. That's why the definition of the opposition will be quite interesting if a bill comes up. Would, for example, independents become part of the opposition in the definition of what the opposition is? So in this case, who would be the people who are voting? But the whole problem is that from what I saw on social media, the proposer of this motion is aiming at the current leader of the opposition. In other words, actually, it could easily be called the Senyonyi removal bill.
No, but I thought the law doesn't work retrospectively. It would be affecting.
But no, I saw the gentleman saying he's determined to remove Senyonyi, even if it may mean that he gets out of parliament, he can survive on his profession as a lawyer and on his coffee and so on. It is the Senyonyi issue.
So it's in bad faith?
It's really not proper that you can bring up a law. And if it is a Senyonyi issue, I am not sure the president would sign it. Senyonyi is the grandson of Lachi. Lachi was killed after the 72 invasion in 1972. Now, the president was particularly connected with the late Lachi, and him signing a law intended to remove the grandson of Lachi, I don't see him signing it. So it is dead from the very beginning.
Yeah, but the latest on Lumu's bid is that he's now seeking dialogue, an engagement of some sort with the political parties to explain the draft document and to help him, for them to have their input.
As a member of DP, a party in power, he has no locus standing for moving a motion with regard to the opposition.
He sits on the left.
Well, it doesn't matter. The party is formally in government. His party is formally in government. The leader of the party is a minister of justice. They've got positions they negotiated, and so on.
Yeah, but he's been quite vocal against the agreement between the Democratic Party.
The party is formally in government with a memorandum of agreement. There are internal disagreements. Those are internal.
Are you okay with the arrangement where a leader of opposition is picked on the whims of the principal of the party?
That should be raised internally within a party. I am not sure, but that is what happens in the governing party. The leader of government business is picked by the party.
Does it make it right?
Well, in this particular case, if we also move that the leader of the opposition should be voted by all members of the opposition, whatever that may mean, then the leader of government business should be elected by the party as well. The law would have to balance it and say the leader of government business would have to be elected by members of the ruling party. And that's why I'm saying this is something trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist.
Okay, what if this proposed amendment sees the light of the day, would it be catastrophic to multi-party democracy?
I have always argued that we don't have a multi-party system. Our system, you see, the Constitution says that if one political system is in place, all the others are in abeyance. The movement system is still in place, side by side with other political parties. It never went into abeyance. We have a hybrid system of the movement system and the multi-party system. Why do I say so? The structure of the ruling party is based on the LC1, which is a local government structure. That is what was there in the movement system. It has never changed. So we can't argue about something being strictly multi-party and so on. If it is a multi-party, how do you have members, a party in government, and it is also in the opposition? You can't have it. You can't have it.
You seem to be buying into the notion that Lumu's intention is shrouded in mischief.
It is in bad faith. There is no doubt about it. It is in bad faith. It has come out to be against a specific individual. I am not.
That's
sure.
Your interpretation before.
No,
before you even get to read the depth.
I have seen the proposer being quoted on social media, saying he has got to get rid of Senyonyi, and that one. No law should be made against.
But there seems to be a bit of disarray now within the opposition in the work of this proposal. The different voices now that either side, one is critical, too critical, and bashing the proposer. Do you think this could escalate the current tensions?
The parties in opposition are in disarray. The most prominent ones, you can easily see that. You can see the open quarrels within the biggest opposition party in the parliament. You can see what has happened with the next one, the FDC. Of course, you see what is happening within DP and the FDC. It is in government, it is not in government. Then all the others. So the terrain of the political parties is a confused one. And for the ordinary person, it is reflected, for example, in the turnout at elections. In the last elections, the turnout was quite low. In the next elections, it will even be lower, because the people don't see what is at stake, and they don't see the alternatives and so on. So the parties in opposition, I am not sure even the ruling party should be expending money on fighting them. No, they will finish themselves.
Well, you give us a historical context to the appointment or election of a leader of opposition, that when it all started out, there was a contest between Sam Njuba, the late, and Honorable Ogenga Latigo. It was fierce to the extent that it nearly tore the party apart. Don't you think parties ought to apply the same model to allow a contest for this?
I think the problem there was that the winner of the contest was not the one favored by the leader of the party. So it became, and that's why the next appointment, the next leader, the risk was removed for having a leader of the opposition who doesn't go along with the leader of the party.
So it's been an increasing pattern that the leader, the principal of the political party in the leading opposition, cherry picks whoever he or she feels relates well with him. And in a way, it frustrates or it affects parliamentary democracy.
You see, the leader of the opposition, who is not also the leader of the party, that situation causes problems. For example, if the leader of the NUP party was also the leader of the opposition, the incident of yesterday would not have happened, because you would have guards, you would have had escorts and an official car. Once you have an official car, even the police recognize you, and they will not be attacking you and so on. So that causes problems. And if you recall, from the 60s, that's what happened with Benedicto Kiwanuka outside of Parliament and Taringaya within the Parliament. It creates two power centers within the party, and the smaller power center is more able financially than the actual leader, and so it creates problems within the party. And this is what has...
so it's more of a contradiction. That there is a leader
it creates internal contradictions which should not be there. You can imagine the leader of the party being, if it is a party function, is there, and then the leader of the opposition comes with the escorts and so on, which or they go to a function where there is fundraising, and because the leader of the opposition is more financially capable, he can speak powerfully, and the leader of the opposition, the leader of the party has to weigh the capacity, his own capacity and the capacity of the party. It creates...
Could it be the reason why there's always been a clash between the office of leader of opposition and the opposition headquarters?
Yes, that has happened. Sometimes the leader of the opposition can take a position in the parliament which the headquarters doesn't agree with. But he has already spoken, it is on the Hansard.
So that gives good rationale to an amendment, probably to include a clause.
The election will not remove that. Because I remember when the deployment to Somalia first took place, the leader of the opposition spoke in favor of it in Parliament, and the headquarters had already issued a statement against it, and so that's something major, and it creates friction. Sometimes just protocol. There can be official functions, and the leader of the opposition evaluates and thinks it is okay to attend
a national function.
A national function like independence and so on. And he goes and attends it. And then the headquarters thinks, no, now he's becoming part of the ruling party, is compromised, is what? So it creates problems.
So naturally,
so
it gives you the impression that Rumu is opening a can of worms, or maybe exposing the fallacies that exist in terms of multi-party democracy and how parliamentary democracy. Because this is called the opposition. So having a leader who is not even contested, just picked
No,
to lead.
but his argument is about election by all members of the opposition, not just the party with the second largest number.
No, he held a press conference on Monday and clarified that at least if there would be a contest of three, that the party fronts three candidates for the position of leader of opposition, so that other attendant parties, auxiliary parties also come in.
No, but I have also seen proposals that they should share positions.
Chief Whip?
No, the commissioner and then the leader of the opposition, then the chief whip. I think that one doesn't arise. The leader, the party with the second largest number is the opposition party, and all appointments are done by that particular party. That is the setup everywhere. It's not a shared one. No. The shared one was one party in parliament thinking that to get the support of the other parties, it needs to include them. It is an option. It is not a mandatory thing.
Yeah, but should the law remain as is? Is it cast in stone?
There is no law now regulating how the party, the opposition party, selects the person who becomes the leader of the opposition.
Yeah, but the law stipulates that the leading opposition shall elect a leader of opposition. So it envisages a situation where there is meant to be an election.
Now, yes, that is
not an anointment.
How for Parliament, all they need to know is that the party, for the party, this is the person they have fronted
by consensus.
Yes, and usually even when there is no election, there will be a neck discussion, for example, as to who should become who should become leader of the opposition. And I can tell you, at one time, the leader of the party had selected the late Cecilia Ogwaro as leader of the opposition, and members said no, there was no election.
So there was consensus.
Yes, but they explained. They said.
I'll give you the precedent. For instance, the precedent of Betty Awolo Chan and the precedent of Senyonyi, where name was just fronted.
No,
the party president.
No. That is to Parliament. But internally there are discussions as to how, as to who.
There should be.
They are there. That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you. Nandala was not the name selected by the leader of the party. No. The leader of the party had selected the late Cecilia Ogwaro. But then other members said, no, this is a new entrant into the party, and it won't look. And and then another name. But there was no election.
What if there was an election, given the precedent of 2006?
No, okay, now that is...
The internal processes of the party
that is hypothetical. The proposal is not about the internal party mechanisms. It is about the inclusion of all who are opposition in the selection. That is
consensus.
That is what is the change. The change is that the selection should not be made by the second biggest party in parliament, but by a collective of the opposition. And that one has no basis. There is no basis for that proposal.
If you took a bigger picture and analyzed the current sentiment, the negativity, the pessimism, and of course the suspicion surrounding it, how does it depict Lumu?
I am not sure. I really don't know him as a person. But the sentiments about the leadership of the opposition in the parliament now are actually a reflection of the ruling party sentiments about the current leadership. That the current leader is looked at as disruptive. For example, with regard to the regional
parliamentary sittings,
he has come out opposing them, and obviously it's quite official for the ruling party. You can see the president involved and so on. So, and it has generated discussion about whether the regional sittings should take place.
For the record, what's your opinion about these regional sittings?
The regional sitting, there was a regional sitting when Right Honorable Sekandi was the speaker. There was a regional sitting in Masaka. Now the difference is methodology. The ones of when it took place, the Honorable Sekandi had discussed it with the relevant organs. So it was not just his decision. Now there is a lot of commandism. A decision is made somewhere, and then a command comes that this will happen. It's a question of methodology, and so eventually it degenerated into discussing the costs, and so on. And also before there had been sittings in regions, but with the regional MPs only. That happened as well, and so on. So it's the methodology of consultation and commandism. And now the methodology is a methodology of commandism. This has been decided. This is what will happen. And that's it. And the people now have got used to consultation, and they expect it.
Yeah, the rift between the Speaker's office and the leader of opposition has kept widening over time. And while to some analysts the leader of opposition is being looked at as being too confrontational, there's the other side that says that perhaps this is what the opposition ought to do.
The summary of it is that the leader of the opposition seems to complain about being left out of decisions, of discussions where he should be involved.
Or probably is not reaching out.
No, but if he's a member of the commission and the commission sits, surely he should be involved. So if the commission doesn't sit, but a decision which should be a commission decision is taken, then there will be complaints.
Yeah, but in parliamentary terms, what does this collision between the two forces mean for business in parliament?
No, I have seen they cite the fact that the speaker has the right to choose where parliament sits, and indeed The Speaker does have that power. So there is no need. But if the Speaker takes that decision, I think all the relevant people that should know should actually be duly brought in, and then these types of complaints would not come about. Now, with regard to the regional meetings, now they are taking place. So the issue will be now evaluation. Whether, you see, there has been a catchphrase of taking this to the people. That has been the rationale for the innumerable districts, for the innumerable local government units and so on. But whether that actually takes services to the people, now this should be the evaluation, because they are taking place. The issue now of whether they should take place doesn't arise. They are taking place.
How about the issue of cost? Because
that's what the evaluation should be. No, the cost will arise because the number of members of parliament is so huge. That alone will be a cost issue. A sitting of parliament involves the executive. The executive is not just a minister. A minister must have appropriate staff that can advise him on the issues that arise in the sector. So the number can actually be quite huge.
As we take a break, broadly speaking, what's your view of the 11th Parliament in its current state?
The 11th Parliament is problematic to evaluate. If it is on the issue of representation, it is the most representative parliament because of the numbers. In other words, there are very many areas actually represented. The constituency I represented now has three members, and there are others actually which have more. So it is quite representative. But as to whether the individual members of parliament can actually perform their roles within parliament, that becomes problematic because there is no time. I think a speaker has got problems to decide on whom to speak and for how long and so on. I see it is generally 2 minutes or 3 minutes. And the way Africans speak, you start with all types of introduction and half the time is finished. And so there is a problem of members of parliament.
Do you find this a desirable house that Ugandans really need at such a critical time? Are they really?
No, the numbers are just too large. After the 95 Constitution, the average number for a constituency was about 70,000, and that led to about 230 members. Now, of course, the population has increased. You can take a proportion of about 250,000 for a member of parliament, and that would give you maybe still below 300. That would still be quite big, but since cabinet is selected largely from parliament, a large number of them will be removed, and you remain with about 200 members.
Well, we'll take a very short break, and when we return, we'll still be shining a spotlight on quite a number of things that are shaping the state of affairs in the country. Good morning. Welcome back. It's still the topical discussion, and I'm having a conversation with a legendary politician. I hope it's not offensive.
No, I'm not offended.
Okay. Well, there's been a lot of talk recently, most recently, and a lot of activity regarding arresting corrupt leaders, and among them were legislators who are currently battling cases in court. Does it give you a sense that finally the president is taking the fight against corruption by the horns?
You know, there is a loophole in the anti-corruption legislation. The legal framework is quite robust, but it misses one thing. When people are arrested, they are not incapacitated financially. That's what makes the arrests not effective. So people are free to interfere with investigations and so on because they are not incapacitated. What do I mean by being incapacitated financially? And elsewhere, for example, in the developed countries, if you were arrested for allegations of corruption, you completely, there is forfeiture and seizure of your assets, financial, physical, and so on, and you can't have capacity to interfere.
But these are suspects; they're not yet
No,
guilty.
no. On suspicion, on suspicion, those measures are taken. They are provisional. They are provisional, and so you have seen the arrests are actually boosting the image of those arrested in their constituencies. When they come out, I saw one being called the Mandela. When he came out of prison, and I have seen statements. The statements are victorious statements when they come out, and it's because of the loopholes in the law. And so
there's also been an argument about selective picking of suspects.
No, all arrests will be selective because at any one time there is corruption going on in the country, and there are many people involved. You can't arrest all of them at the same time. So all arrests will indeed be selective. But when they are selective, those arrested, there must be serious action taken. There is no serious action going to be taken. I can see that the investigations are going to have, those investigating will have difficulties to pin them down and eventually to have them convicted. Now, that becomes discouraging.
You get curious to know what next. This is more of...
what next should be completion of the investigation files, and then prosecution. That's what should take place.
Yeah, but the question that lingers is, why would you go for the cooperatives, suspects in the cooperative scandal, and then let free people who were in the Mabati scam?
No, but this is the whole problem. The corruption has become so rampant that it has become physically impossible to arrest all of them. But in the case of the Mabati one, I think that's where people doubt about the will to fight corruption, because there was evidence. And the ones who are involved, some of the ones who are involved, the head of state had the power to sanction them. But many of them continued attending cabinet, and many of them
exonerated.
Many of them, no, the issue seems to have been forgotten, except for the unfortunate, are they 2 or 3 who have been taken to court. But that one is something that brings doubt on the issue of whether there is actually the will to fight corruption. Because it has become so rampant, and I heard the president actually ask, but if we sanction all of them, whom shall I work with? Now, when it has come to that, then we have a serious problem.
Well, as we're almost getting out of here, but what would be your analysis on the Chitezi tragedy and how the country has moved on?
The Chitezi tragedy is general neglect of duty. That the tragedy was going to happen was known within the circles of KCCA and everybody who was living around for a long time, and no action was taken. And now, when it has happened, there is nobody sanctioned for neglect of duty. People are making this, giving press conferences, blaming other people and so on. But this is a very serious matter, and even the action taken is very feeble, very feeble. There is no state of emergency declared around the area. I think the people who are still buried in the garbage are probably going to remain there. There is no adequate action taken. Secondly, there is no corrective action being being proposed. That they are planning to have a processing plant for the garbage. You don't see it. You don't see it. The land that was bought in Mukono, you don't hear about what is going to happen. But even residents
reject.
But even that one, it is still dumping. And obviously, Chitezi has proved that dumping is preparation for a disaster. So you don't see any action, and really, this is quite tragic. The whole leadership of the city council, even the elected officials, even if they were emasculated, you don't see any noise they had been making. You don't see any noise they had been making. They are involved in the budgeting. You don't see them pointing out that there is no adequate budget for processing of garbage. And then the executive, there are 2 ministers. I've never heard of them saying anything.
For Kampala?
No, yes, the ministers of Kampala. They have not taken responsibility. They are actually finally responsible, politically responsible. The chief executive, she makes speeches about not having adequate money and so on, and it's I wouldn't say it is evidence, but
is there any way the Chitezi debacle connects with the entire state of the nation?
It is that effectiveness is lacking. If you look at the way the repairs of the roads in Kampala is going, it's indefinite. those living near the roads being repaired have to bear the dust forever. You see no adequate equipment on the roads and so on. Yes, the main preoccupation of preserving power rather than service delivery is the ongoing, is what is ongoing, and you can see it. The primary thing is not about service delivery. No, that's not the primary thing.
Well, we need to come to an end, and I must really thank you very much, Honorable Augustine Ruzindana, for sparing time in the morning to speak to us and share your view and analysis on the state of affairs. That's it from me. Have a lovely day and cheers.
Thank you.